West Ham United are over at the KAA Gent Stadium to take on this Gent side in a European quarter-final once again, our second in as many seasons, this time in the Conference League, of course, and we are here for the build-up team news and prediction show for our first leg of our quarter-final game. I'm joined by Phil. Phil, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Hope you're well.
For sure. And because it's Europe, the lineup is already out. And Phil, are you ready?
I am very ready. Let's have a look.
Let's have a little look at what we've got then. So in goal, Alphonse Areola returns to European action. Vladimir Soufal, Ben Johnson, Agerd, Ogbonna and Emerson make up a back five for the Hammers. Rice and Downs and Lanzini for me in a midfield three. Bowen and Danny Ings leading the line. In a midfield, in a striking two. Get in there, Moyes. You've not chucked Ings up on his own, hopefully. From what I can see of that, a 5-3-2 formation. Phil, what do you make of it?
Well, I think we've sort of been very hit and miss when we've had five at the back. You know, we were saying about it being too defensive and all that, but so we're in Europe. It's a team we don't ever play. I don't think it's that bad really, but it depends how we're going to play. If that is actually Bowen partnering Ings up front, that's even better. You know, so then he won't be isolated on his own, which is good. It's nice to see Lanzini getting in there, make the most of it. Probably won't see him for that long. You got Emerson there. You can bomb up and down as a wing back. It's interesting, but we shall see within the next hour and a bit.
I think it's a mixed bag, this lineup, because and we'll go into the subs bench in a minute because I think it's quite interesting, this subs bench. But before we do, I think it's a mixed bag because a five at the back. I don't care if people say three at the back; it's a five at the back. Don't worry about that. With Moyes, it's only going to be a five at the back, isn't it? So let's just take that a 3-5-2, 5-3-2, whatever you want to call it. It's one of those two formations from what we're seeing now. It was always going to be interesting and different to see how Moyes was going to do this, how he was going to rotate, of course, ahead of our game against Arsenal on Sunday, and then next week we've got Bournemouth away, a massive game. In this relegation dogfight. So it was always going to be interesting to see what Moyes did here. And, there's a couple of players I would like to see a bit more involved in there. But overall, I don't mind it too much. Johnson in the centre-back position. I mean, if he was in a two-man centre-back, I'd be a little bit... But there's three of them there, Ogbonna, Agerd and Johnson. So hopefully they can cope with the Belgium threat. Emerson, great to see him back in there, and Soufal as well. I think that is all good. Rice, never given a rest, is he? Fair enough. Captain in the side, probably sitting in front of that back five. Downs maybe a little further forward, and then Lanzini playing in that 10 role. And then, as I said, I'd guess Bowen and Ings in a striker 2, Phil.
Yeah, that's how we like to think it's going to be. It's nice to see Downs get a chance at last. Souček really definitely needed to not start a game for a while. So it'd be nice to see, Rice and Downs together again, see what they can do together. And again, Lanzini, having that sort of free role, to do what we've seen him do for years anyway. And look, Bowen as well. If he's the one who's going to be playing up front there with Ings, that'd be good because he's got the attributes to be a striker, I suppose. Seeing as that's what Moyes has done, really, getting wingers and converted them into strikers. And we also got here back in the defence, Ben Johnson. If he's playing as the right-sided centre back, I don't mind that too much because he is obviously he's a right back by trade. So he sort of solidifies that right side while Soufal can bomb up and down. Yeah. So, it's not too bad.
Yeah. Let's see what we've got in the chat. Hello to everybody watching. Of course, there's some content that's gone out on the channel today. A couple of videos over from our reporters in Ghent. So there's a couple of them. Go and check those out on the channel after you've watched this. Hello to everybody in the chat. Miss Hamrat, thank you very much for joining us. Hi all. Please remember to drop a like as it helps Jake grow the channel. It certainly does. The subscribers are motoring at the moment, so please hit that subscribe button as well if you haven't already. Hit the spuds. Good squad I see. Come on, you Irons, indeed. Let's see who else we've got. And Peter, thank you very much indeed for joining us, mate. Dad as well. Should be working, do some work. Hope you are well. £5 on deck to score anytime. I fancy deck to score today, actually. European, he loves a goal. In Europe, he scored a couple in the European competitions. But one thing I did mention in my preview yesterday was I'd like to see some rotation in that midfield, and that's what we've seen. You know, I mentioned perhaps potentially Downs and Lanzini, and it seems like Moyes has listened to me. And as you said, Downs getting a bit of game time in there, and Lanzini getting some minutes, which, as you said, we might not see for very much longer. How do you see that midfield dynamic going, Phil?
Something different. That's what I see there. I think it'll be. I think it'll be all right. So I feel like Rice, he's not going to be playing the part of two players this time round, which is nice. So Downs, he can get on the ball, he can get stuck in. He's better at tackling and passing. And Lanzini, we know what he can do, and even if he wants to drop back, he can do that now. It looks all right. So it's good to have the rotation in because you need it in Europe. That's what we was crying out for last year. That's what we suffered. So it's nice to see, and hopefully, I know we pretty much said this all season, but let's hope this is the start of Downs trying to get a few more games.
Yeah, exactly. We just need him to get that game time coming in as well. Let's see who else we have got in the chat. Wally, thank you very much indeed for joining us. A couple of valid points Peter's made here. I think is this going to be the calm before the storm on Sunday? And this is the crazy thing about it. We're saying this is the calming game. We're in a quarter final of a European competition here, right? And there is a massive difference between the sort of perception going into that Lyon game last year. I can remember for the first leg, we were in Rotterdam Cruise Terminal trying to get some Wi-Fi to watch the game in the end, and the nerves were there. But today there just seems to be a little bit more of a relaxed vibe and feeling about it, Phil.
Well, that's because we're used to being in Europe now, innit? I don't care about where we are on the table or anything like that. No, it's good because I think, the difference there was where we was in Europa League last season, bigger competition, bigger teams. Lyon, as you said, that was we know they're a big respected football club in Europe. They've got some history. So, no disrespect to Gent, but they're not as big as them. But they're still, I'm here saying I don't fear anyone, but they're still going to be an interesting opposition to come up against. Definitely. But it's just the way we've been really this season. It's like, this is all we care about is this European competition. So just go out there and have fun, basically.
Yeah, we're going to have a look at the subs bench now. I'm going to go down and zoom in on that. Our subs bench consists of Fabianski, Anang, two keepers in there, Creswell, Zuma, Fornals, Antonio Paqueta, Cornet, Benrahma, Kera, Souček, and Mubama. Now, what a stocked bench that is, Dave. If you look at attacking options, we've got there Fornals, Antonio Paqueta, Cornet, Benrahma, Mubama. There's 6 options there that can be brought off the bench. Mubama, good to see him on the bench. Quarter final, he's on the bench. That's brilliant for him. And it's good to see players like Antonio and Souček getting a rest, and Zuma in there as well, which is valuable, I think.
Oh, definitely. I mean, that is an ensemble of attacking talent. That is. They can all definitely do something if they do come on. And it's always nice to have, a lot of first team quality players in there as well. So that if in doubt you get an injury or someone's not performing, you got some decent players to come on. And I would like to see Mubama come on, try and get another goal, add to his collection, especially after, when we saw him play against Southampton in the Youth Cup game last week. So, I mean, you got Paqueta there as well. He can do something. Get Cornet on to get a few more minutes, add a bit of pace. And then, Antonio, Benrahma, they speak for themselves, really. We know what they can do.
Yeah. I mean, there's there's two sort of perceptions to look at this, and it's that people are saying, we've gone really sort of not strong in this game. This is a quarter final. People are forgetting here, but then there's the people also saying that we're still in a relegation dogfight here, and we need to rest our players as much as possible to get them ready for what's the bigger occasion here is staying in the Premier League. Where do you stand on it, Phil?
Well, I think it's important to rest your players when you got these, when you got these midweek games, and especially when it is a cup game. I know it is a quarter final in Europe and all that, but it's as we ain't been the greatest this season, but I still think our players are, they're good enough to do a job in Europe for sure. So this is a massive game against Arsenal coming up on Sunday. They're trying to, they want to win the title first time in however many years. We're still trying to fight for survival. So rest the best players, as many best players as you can, so they're fit for that. But we want some to still be, to be playing in this game.
Yeah. So
I'm sort of almost on the fence really with this one.
There's got to be a mix in there, and I think that's what Moyes has done. That he's sort of identified that he needs to get as many people fit and as ready for this game on Sunday. And you see, Zuma will probably start, Souček will start for sure, Ben Rama probably, Antonio as well, Paqueta. That's 5 names I just reeled off from that bench that aren't starting tonight. So you will talk about Paqueta more in just a second, but it's a difference to last season where we had exactly the same side pretty much starting Thursday, Sunday. Now we've got a few gaps that have been filled by more fringe players that we just didn't have there last year. So that's got to be a positive, that we're not, starting the same 11 players Thursday and Sunday, because otherwise it would, it could be calamitous. But it's good to see that sort of rotation. We'll talk about individual players more in just a second. Let's take some more of your comments. Then we're going to go to Ings needs to go to. I think that's very, very true. Ings is in desperate need of a goal, and with Bowen up there as well by his side, hopefully in a front man too, hopefully he can get one today.
Oh, I hope so. We, starting them for a lot of money, Ings, and when you buy a striker, you sign in for one reason and one reason only: to score goals.
Especially in January as well, paying £50 million for a striker in January. We're now in April, he hasn't scored a goal.
No, I know he had a couple of goals against. I can't even remember who it was against. That was Forest, wasn't it? He scored 2 goals.
Oh yeah, of course he did. Yeah. He scored 2 goals against Forest, didn't he? But that's been it.
That is it. Isn't that he's only scored in 1 game since he's been with us, and he's still one of Aston Villa's top goal scorers this season, I think. Says a lot, really, doesn't it? So, I know it's hard because we've not really played to his strengths, and he's been isolated up top when he's been starting or when he's come on. We never even give him the chance. Don't give him the ball. So this is what we wanted anyway when he started alongside Antonio against Fulham. You get him playing alongside someone, you might see him get a chance. Hopefully tonight that is the case. And it's like any striker, when you're low in confidence, you get that 1 goal, your confidence goes up, and you probably start going on a bit of a purple patch, a bit like Antonio did a few years ago.
Yeah. No, exactly. We've got to with these players get some confidence in them and try and get the Danny Ings that we've all seen for years and years and years in the Premier League out into these remaining games, but we'll have to wait and see on that sense. Wally, thank you very much indeed for joining us. I think this is a change of West Ham now when we step up. Lawrence, thanks for joining us. There we go. See, I've got my own personal plugger now. Look, plug in what's coming up. Yeah, we've got a very exciting interview coming to the channel tomorrow morning. So make sure you have the notification bell turned on so you are notified when that comes out. It is a good one. It is very good. So I'm not going to drop anything. I'm not going to say what it is. You'll have to wait and see for tomorrow morning then. Let's have a look. Again, West Ham can win. That's the main thing as well. We can win this game. We've got to have that belief, especially going into the game on Sunday where we're probably not going to get anything.
Yeah, it's look, let's just go out there, get a decent result tonight, so it makes us a bit more easy going for the second leg, so we can just cruise into the semi-finals. And then, Arsenal's going to be, free. We're not expecting to win that. We know that as long as we're not totally embarrassed by the result against them, You know, at least go out there with a bit of fight, and if we do win, that's a massive bonus. It's a
Yeah,
massive bonus, even if it's a draw.
yeah. For the more observant of you watching, you can notice the Gent lineup is now at the bottom of your screen. We'll have a little look at that now. So Rofe in goal, Crikey, Castro, Montez, Pikowski, Akumu, Turinga make up a back four. Hong, Coombs, Dessart, and Fafana, and then Sipers playing ahead of their key man Orban, leading the line. In the Conference League so far, in this campaign, he scored a 3-minute hat trick. Yeah. Or that Orban geezer scored a 3-minute hat trick. He's been one of the shining lights for Belgian football and for European football this season. And Phil, from the stats I've seen, it's scary, and it's definitely the key man tonight.
Well, yeah, definitely one to look out for then, and might do our own little scouting mission then. Really,
Exactly.
let's sign him up. Other than that, I mean, I don't really know too much about their team, but when you go by stats alone by Orban, and yeah, definitely got to look out for him. A 3-minute hat trick, that's very, very impressive. You know,
Yeah.
I know it's been done a couple of times in the Premier League over the years. So yeah, as long as we, that's probably why we got 5 at the back, just to stop him.
Yeah. No, exactly. And he's definitely, hopefully, Moyes and his scouting team have done a bit of work on how to sort of try and counteract that. And they are a good side. They're sat fourth in the Belgian league. They are unbeaten in their last 5 in their domestic league. So they are no mugs. They are playing some very, very good football, and they're in the best sort of form of their history. As well, we of course last season, reaching those high heights. It seems like they're doing that just of course over in the Belgian league as well. So those are the 2 lineups. We will run through those again very, very shortly, but we will move back to there. There we go. And we will go through some of your comments then. So Peter says, Thought he would have gone with 3 keepers on the bench, so shocker, it's only 2. West Ham win 2-0. Says Lawrence, start getting your predictions into the live chat then. Mubamba played so well last Thursday for the ratings he did, so hopefully he can get another opportunity, even if it's only 5-10 minutes today, which will be the most likely outcome. Let's have a look here. Miss Hammerette says, I'd have liked to have seen a few more youngsters on the bench versus 2 keepers. One, especially being Skulls, played so well the other night. Exactly. No need to have 2 keepers on there whatsoever. Mubamba is something special, and hope we nurture and develop him definitely. And hopefully he doesn't, go off to somewhere for 500 grand. Let's hope not. Not. Steve, hope you are well, mate. Thank you very much for joining us. Hello, everyone. Sorry, but I just don't understand this team selection, formation, tactics, mentally coming in well as West Ham too. I die. Formation, I don't know. I sort of sit on the fence, as I can see why he's done it, but I think it's just a bit of a shock because we haven't played a back 5 for at least a couple of months, Phil.
Yeah, I don't know. Nothing's really a surprise with me nowadays with West Ham, with formations and team selections and all that. But he's a manager. He knows what he's doing at the end of the day. I know a lot of us don't see it that way, but if it works, then he'd be a tactical genius, I suppose, wouldn't he? If not, typical Moyes dinosaur.
Yeah, and what Steve says in terms of tactics, well, tactics aren't a thing that David Moyes sort of adopts. He doesn't he doesn't sort of know what tactics mean, so there's no point talking about any tactics. Peter says, I predict a slow start by Sloths United. Yes, again, nice to see Moyes with a 7-2-1 formation.
Let's just go all out and say a 10-0.
10-0,
yeah.
Lawrence says, not a bad side. I think David Moyes is looking to Sunday. Peter says, will Moyes come out with yet more waffle after the game in Belgium? I was waiting for somebody to say that.
That's a good one.
Waiting for the waffle joke, and it has come. Peter, you win the award.
Well done.
There we go. Let's have a look at some of your comments. Jay says, I'm hoping for a win tonight, then possibly a draw on Sunday. If we win tonight and get a draw on Sunday, what a perfect week that would be to go off last week's pretty much perfect week, apart from the Newcastle game.
Yeah. Look, we scraped through and got 3 points against Fulham, which is, wasn't the greatest performance, but we got the 3 points, which was important. When we have this little break and have a, cup game, it's like a nice little distraction. And if you get a decent result out of that, then that confidence goes into the next game. It's only a few days respite until we go again against Arsenal. And hopefully we will be more fired up for that one because we know that it's going to be a massive game. Still, it's a London derby as well. Like I said, we're both opposite ends of the table fighting for two different things. So it's always good. So if we get a bit of confidence out after, if we get a win out of this game, who knows?
Yeah, exactly, and it just lifts the confidence
Yeah.
as well. People are just starting to get themselves into the Gilamco Arena. There is the away end over in that corner, so we can expect the 1,000 plus West Ham fans to be making a noise on there. Of course, we've been projected to see around what was it? About, I think about 4,000 have made the trip over to Belgium. So yeah, absolutely massive in terms of that sense. So, yeah, fans just starting to make their way into the stadium as we are now under an hour until kickoff, 58 minutes until there. Positives to take out of it. There's no Souček in there. I think to see a different dynamic in that midfield partnership, I think was much needed. It gives him a rest as well, after, before his inevitable start on Sunday against Arsenal. I would have liked to see Cornet tonight, just that injection of pace for me, but hopefully we'll see him in some capacity at some point, and those other players that are featured on the bench as well. Phil, final thoughts with that lineup?
Just go out there. I think if we, like I said, it will be a slow start, but I think the confidence will grow throughout the game, and I think, yeah, if we just play our game, get a bit more confidence, you get back just the one goal, and then you probably see a few more coming in. So we might even get a decent win out of this.
Yeah, let's hope so. A big confidence booster. Let's hope. Well, we can't underestimate this side as well. They, we don't know what they're going to do. So, they might come out and shock us. They might be a not very good football team, but we could probably argue that we are the latter of that sentence as well. So it's going to be an interesting game, of course, and I think it will obviously massively help us in our planning ahead of the second leg next week, where hopefully we've got a bit of breathing space come next week between these two sides. Let's go into some predictions then. I'll go first. I've sort of flirted between 1-0 and 2-0, and with that lineup and how defensive it is, I am going to stick with a 1-0 West Ham win. I'm feeling a Lanzini goal, maybe a penalty. I don't know. But yeah, that's what I'm going for. Phil, prediction?
I'm going to go for a 3-0 today. I think, yeah, I reckon Bowen will score. Ings might get a lucky goal, and then you said Rice likes to score in Europe, so I reckon he might bend one in from 25 yards.
Like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Peter's got an interesting question here. He says, would you take a 1-0 loss today and any type of win against Arsenal? Now, the key thing there is a 1-0 loss that can obviously be put right next week at home. I don't really want to answer that question, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a hard one to say, though. It's a good question, though, Pete. But, well, I mean, if that is the case and we take a 1-0 loss and then win against Arsenal at any old scoreline, then it just makes it more nerve-wracking. It makes it more entertaining for next week, doesn't it?
Yeah. Makes the heart rate go a bit faster than it doesn't it? But yeah, I don't know. For once, I'm going to sit on the fence, Peter, and I'm not going to provide you with an answer on that one. I predict we will either win, lose, or draw. Well, that is very insightful of you, Peter. Thank you very much for that. But yeah, we will leave it there. We are 55 minutes away from that kickoff, so go and get yourself a sandwich or whatever. Get yourself a cup of tea ready for the game, and we will see you back live right here on West Ham Official on the full-time whistle. Hopefully, Phil, discussing a win.
Let's hope so. Come on, boys.
From us, come on, you eyes. We'll see you soon right here on West Ham Official. Thank you very much. Come on, boys. Let's go. European quarterfinal settings. Come on.